Hi, welcome to the Craft Channel. My name's Corinne Bradd, and today I've got a very simple project for you that's simply made from half a hexagon of fabric. In fact, that's a lie, it's made from 2 half hexagons of fabric. And it's a little triangle purse with a popper, just big enough for a bit of loose change, maybe some crystals. Perfect for kids if they want to, if they've got some of these tiny little animals that they want to carry around with them. I say 2 layers of fabric, or you can make one for leather as an alternative to a wallet. And as I say, what you need is a half hexagon, well, 2 half hexagon shapes of printed fabric. So I'll put a template in the description below, and these have been cut out, adding a 5mm seam allowance to all edges. Now, I've got to think about this, because if I don't think about it, I'll get it wrong. Put your 2 pieces right sides together and put a pin in one corner. And then open them out and take this other corner and bring it up to the top edge. And then repeat on the lining side of it. So you bring the other corner up to the top edge. Decide on which one's going to be your outside and which is going to be your inside. I'm going to have the darker colour as the outside. So stitch down that seam, but remember to leave yourself the 5mm seam allowance at the top edge clear. Let me show you what I mean by that. I've not stitched the entire seam. I've left a little bit of the top free so that I can sew that seam in a minute. I'm just going to snip off the bottom point of that. And we'll do the same with the lining fabric. We'll start at the point. And I'm going to leave about a 4 to 5 centimetre gap in the middle of that seam. That's for turning out in a minute. And stop 5mm before the end of that seam. Let's clip the bottom off that point as well. And then before we go any further, the gap that I've left, I'm just going to finger press in the hem of it and put a little stroke of glue on there to tack it. If you've ever watched any of our other demonstrations, you'll see I do this quite often on all manner of projects. And it just keeps the fabric from stretching and fraying. It makes turning out so much easier, and it also makes stitching up the gap later so much easier. And the glue is so light, it doesn't affect the flexibility of your fabric. So, take that pin out of there now and turn your lining fabric out. You don't need to turn it out completely, but you need to slip it inside your outer fabric, like so. And then we're going to sew these 2 points down to the side seam. And we're going to sew right along the front as well. Now I find it easier to pin on the inside of the fabric, because even when I take my accessory drawer off, this triangle is too small to fit over the bed of the machine. So I'm going to start with the trickiest bit, which is sewing across the front. So start at the end of that side seam where you'd left that 5mm gap along the top. And you carry on sewing across this part of the pouch, this straight edge, and it goes up around the corner. When you get to the top of the point, stop 5mm from the end, leave your needle in the work, lift your foot up and pivot it, and then sew back down. Right to the end. And because you've left a gap in the lining, you are able to turn this the right side out. I'm just going to clip that top point off, and I'm going to taper the seam allowance on that top point so that it's a nice definite point. And then pull your outer through your lining. Grab yourself a chunky knitting needle to get in there and gently push those points out. Don't be tempted to use the blade of a pair of scissors, because if you're a bit heavy-handed, you will just succeed in piercing straight through the fabric. So you need to turn the point out of the outer, so it's the same fabric on both sides. You need to turn the point out of the flap, which is outer and lining. Don't worry about turning the point out of this pink lining, because you're just going to turn it back in again. But what you do want to do is bring together those glued sides that you made earlier. Pop a pin in there, and then either hand stitch or cheat. If you hand stitch neatly, this makes it pretty much reversible. Actually, no, that's a lie, because I'm going to put a fastening on this in a minute, which stops it being reversible. Let's just zigzag stitch that hole closed so that nothing gets lost in the lining. And then pop the lining inside the outer and push it down to the point. So you have a diamond shape. So bring that down to a point, and then I'm just going to fit a couple of these resin press studs in there. So we'll choose a violet, and with these you want 2 drawing pin type pieces, and you want a male and a female part. Line the end of your pouch up where you want it to be, and use the needle tool that normally comes with this kit to pierce a hole through that flap, and then also pop your finger inside and let it go through the first layer of fabric. Oh, it's gone through the second layer of fabric there as well. Give it a wiggle and do the inside bit first. Now you might find it easier to turn that inside out and put your drawing pin piece from the back into that hole. And fit on one side of the fastener. And then you're going to be working a little bit blind here because you're inside the project. But essentially, the pliers that you use for these have got a cupped base that your press stud will fit into. So when you squeeze it, it doesn't damage it. What it does is it just presses down that pin. And then the top one is much easier to do. Put your stud in from the outside in. Pop the other half of your stud on top. Slide it in there. Make sure it's located in the cup. And give it a good squeeze so that you can fasten your pouch. This is a brilliant little, great little fundraiser project because, as I say, it uses 2 pieces of fabric, and this hexagon is what, 22 wide by about 10 deep. So, you know, you could make hundreds of these from a stash of fat quarters or leftover upholstery leather. This, I think, actually was a bag of scrap leather I picked up at a car boot sale. Yes, I know I pick everything up from a car boot sale. But it was like a couple of quid for a bag of scraps of leather that someone had used on a sofa reupholstery project. So I hope you like that. I hope you find numerous reasons to make yourself a triangle pouch. Till then, keep safe and thank you very much for watching. If you've been inspired to create, please share your makes with us in the comments section below. And if you've enjoyed videos by the Crafts channel, hit the like button. Want to see more of us? Then click subscribe. See you next time.